Tiktakers, the moment is here. Many of you have been following our Creepy Among Us series for a while, and if you haven't, we encourage you to check the previous parts before watching this video. It is now time to see how this story ends. In the last part, we saw Leah face to face with the man who most likely murdered her sister Yoon. If you remember, Leah decided to go to a remote house to set up a trap for the one who got into her room. However, when she uncovered his mask, she was shocked to discover it was her lifelong neighbor. Leah couldn't believe that he wanted to cause them harm, let alone that he was the one responsible for killing her sister. But everything fit together. She was ready to finish him off, so she decided to ask him why he did it. However, she never expected his response. He said, "Better ask your father." And right in that moment, she heard a voice. He was behind her. Leah turned around and she saw him, her father. He looked different, wearing a very elegant suit and glasses. Leah was dumbfounded. What was her dad doing there? And why didn't he help her when the neighbor attacked her? She was truly frozen in shock. Her father then started to tell her that things should not have reached that point, that she needed to stop investigating and that he would tell her everything. She could barely understand what she was hearing, and the shock was so intense that she fainted. When Leah woke up, she was in one of the rooms of her grandma's house. She tried to get out and flee from that place, but couldn't. The door was locked. And behind it was her father. Leah had no choice but to listen to him. Turns out that he was one of the heads of a huge international organization dedicated to abducting young people, testing them, and then using them for their businesses. For years, the father did his best to hide the truth from his daughters. But unfortunately, Yoon was too smart for her own good and discovered the way the organization kidnapped young people, using a modified version of the Among Us game. He didn't want the organization to kill her, but it had to be done. If someone discovered them and didn't join them, that person had to be silenced, and it happened to her. Leah couldn't believe what she was hearing. Her father always knew. All the time, when both him and her mother were undergoing psychiatric treatment, he knew the truth of what happened. And the worst part, that he didn't seem to care. Leah then decided that now that she was listening to those atrocities, she wanted to know the full truth. So she also asked her father what role was their neighbor playing in all of that. The father told her that he was the one in charge of protecting the family. That's why he was in her room that night, to prevent Leah from going as far as her sister. If she did, she would be dead too. And as much as Leah tried to understand everything she was hearing, it was impossible for her. Her father, an apparently humble and boring shoemaker with a pretty monotonous life, was actually a mafia boss, and he was also demanding that Leah stopped investigating her sister's murder, even threatening her. She would never accept that, but found no other choice but to play along for the time being. She hugged her father and told him that she couldn't forgive him, but that she understood. That's how Leah managed to get out of her grandparents' house and go back to the city. She promised to stop investigating and never visit that Among Us forum ever again. And Leah did try to keep her word at first, but her principles were stronger. How could she allow them to keep murdering innocent people? Moreover, how could she keep living knowing that her father was indirectly responsible for the death of Yoon? Arming herself with bravery, Leah decided to use the secret phone that the police had given her, and from that point on, 2 secret agents and her made a plan to end that criminal organization. It wasn't easy, and she ended up losing another family member, but they were successful. Leah's father and all of his associates ended up behind bars, and she could finally honor her sister playing a match of Among Us without feeling as if someone would murder her in real life. Will Leah be finally safe now? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. And if you want to see more Draw My Life videos, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode!